Quan Lee is a 3-star, and ironically out of Gainesville, and somebody that Cam and others have targeted once Isaiah Bond made a commitment elsewhere, and in that same town. And therefore, Quan Lee, speak to us about Quan Lee, and I will make this one comment. If we go solely by the recruiting rankings, that there will be a faction of people, and understandably so, that aren't going to be enamored based on the 86 next to the position rank.
Right. And that makes sense. Just because you want your team and, excuse me, for me and us, the Miami Hurricanes to recruit at the highest level possible. So you're thinking 86th at wide receiver, is not necessarily the highest. If I do some quick maths, that's like, if we go 3 wide, that is 18th or 19th string, give or take, in America. If you go 1, 2, 3 is your first string, 6 is your second string, so on and so forth. So not the highest rated guy, but he's 6 feet tall, like 175 pounds. He can add a little bit of weight. But he's an electric playmaker, man. He's fast. He's fast. He plays bigger than his height because he's athletic. So he can play outside or inside. He's also dynamic in the kick return and punt return games. And then he also played defense at cornerback and played pretty well there as well. Now, we're looking at him on offense, obviously. 46 catches for 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns, or 47 catches, 1,003 yards and 12 touchdowns, I believe, the exact statistics from last year. That's pretty good, and he's from Gainesville. So too is Clinton Portis. He went to Gainesville High and came down to Miami. Quan Lee's from Buckholz, but he's a guy who I believe is going to be seeing his ranking increase up towards the 4-star ranking level, just because of what he did on the field in the fall, also because of what he's going to do at any camp that he goes to, because, again, he's very physical. 7-on-7, he's just been a terror all spring long. He was just a monster. And that's going to continue into the summer months that he plays 7-on-7 as well. So I'm not really worried about it. Again, this is a guy with good enough height. You would like it if he were 6'2" or 6'3", but he's not. He's 6 feet tall. That's good enough. He's very fast, very polished as a receiver. He can get more polished and diversify his route tree a little bit more. But the routes that he does run, he runs them really well. Obviously, to great success if you're talking about, 1,000 divided by 40, so it's in the 20-plus yards per catch range. If I do quick math, because I do 1,003 divided by 47 is 21.3 yards per catch. That'll work. You know what I mean? So this is a guy who automatically improves your depth and talent in 3 phases. If you separate the return units into individual phases, right? So kick return, punt return, and then offense. And he does offense in multiple ways. So you can do sliding, you can do outside. So you can think of the jet sweep touch pass. You can think of reverse. You can think of trick plays, all those kind of things. You have another speed guy who adds to this roster. And again, I think that he's being undervalued currently, and then it's going to change moving forward with his ranking because of what he's done on the field in multiple settings, camp, 7-on-7, and in the fall. So I'm very excited about getting Quan Lee. He's going to visit here in June 11th weekend, so a couple weekends hence from now, and everything. He's the second commitment in this class to go along with Ja'Cory Brown. And again, I said last week, I believe it was when you asked me, or 2 weeks ago, when Miami only having one commitment might become an issue. And I said, by the July 4th week, because it's not a weekend, it's the week. But, that time around the 4th of July, I need to see 4 commitments, 1 a week in June. So we have a total of 5 minimum. We're still in May and we already got 1. You know what I mean? Outside opens up on Tuesday, which is June the 1st. You got a ton of visitors on June 1st. You got another ton of visitors on June 2nd. And then you got official visits starting the weekend of the 4th. This is not the seismic James Williams surprise commit from last year, which was just like a random Tuesday night. He just dropped it. He didn't even say anything. He just dropped it with the graphic on the timeline and went about his business, and the whole recruiting world changed. This was not that. But a small step is still a step. And I think that this is a bigger step than most people think if you're only going by the rankings, because Quan Lee can play.